All right, what up, bro?
Speaking of the trade, let's just dive right in. Bull will be here in a second. Got stuck behind a train, so on the next segment we'll bring Bull in. But in case you live under a rock and didn't see the blockbuster deal that shook the NFL yesterday, the Browns have traded Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for defensive end Jared Verse, who we'll talk about in depth later in the show, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. Earl, you did an instant reaction video yesterday. Jay, myself, and Chris Wrinkle on the WKYC app did a 50-minute reaction. We're going to spend the next 10, 15 minutes reacting in totality before we dive into different individual pieces of this. But Earl, you just admitted you were wrong in terms of believing the messenger.
Right.
The Browns did trade Myles Garrett. G. Bush, you were also on the side of, come on now, they ain't trading the reigning DPOY. And they did. So what was your initial reaction to finding out that Myles Garrett is headed to L.A. to team up with Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, no longer a member of the Cleveland Browns?
So first thing I did is I was like, man, I got to figure some stuff out. I got to text some people. I got to figure out what's going on. So it was a little delay in when I went live and actually talked about it. But the first thing as a person who wanted to keep Myles Garrett, as a person who thinks Myles Garrett is a franchise cornerstone, and for a person who believes that Myles Garrett was for about 9 years the only thing we had to point to, I was disappointed. And you're going to be disappointed. Fans should be disappointed because we went through a lot of sorrow, heartache, and pain to be able to get a guy like Myles Garrett. And then to have him be moved is tough for the fan base because we've done this before. We've done it with LeBron. We've done it with Francisco Lindor. But I will say this, after you sit back and realize it, Myles Garrett is always going to be a person who you're not going to be able to replace. It's just not. I think if you want to approach it that we replaced him and we got enough for him, you're never going to get enough for a franchise player and a person that means that much to your organization. However, from the things that I'm hearing is this is what he wanted. This is what he would like to be. This is what he wanted to have. He wanted an opportunity to go play for a championship or a championship. He wanted an opportunity to go out and do and to do what most athletes want. And it wasn't going to be here. And if that was his rationale and his thought process, then Andrew Berry and the organization has to do a good job by the new coach they hired. They have to do a good job by what the organization is in the youth movement that they're trying to go with, and they got to move him. So I think when as a player, as a former player, as a person, and as a diehard Cleveland Browns fan, it hurt because you never want to see Hall of Fame players leave. It hurt when Nick Chubb was in the Cleveland Browns. I was hurt by that. I was hurt by any time these guys move on. But there is also a world and a reality where if the player wants that, I always told people, I'm not in the business of keeping nobody hostage. Sometimes you got to move on. And for Myles Garrett, I want to thank him for his contributions to the city, thank him to the contributions he had as a Cleveland Brown, and thank you for what he meant, because for 9 years, we at least could point to that dude right there and say, we got a prime-time ball player. We got a guy that was a defensive player of the year. We got a Hall of Famer. And he goes in the same department to me as Joe Thomas. So to me, Jason, it's disappointing, but they had to do what they had to do.
It's a hard day. And I advocated for trading him. I wrote last year they should have traded him. Mm-hmm. So I agree with the decision to do it, but that doesn't mean you like it. It's a take your medicine day, really. And really what it is it is the most devastating part of Deshaun Watson not working out. This is what happens. This is where you land when you trade 3 first-round picks for Deshaun, when you give him the contract you gave him, when it's the swing and the miss that ownership called it. This is the collateral damage of that. We talked about it on the show yesterday, wrote about it yesterday in The Athletic. This is where you wind up, is having to trade a cornerstone Hall of Fame player, because now you got to do it all over again. And that's the most deflating part. I think, I get the anger from fans and the vitriol. I totally understand it. But that's the emotional side of it. The pragmatic side is, well, you got to try and build a team. You got to try and build a winner. So how do you do that? Well, the best way to go about doing that is trading him and getting the most value you can for him. And we'll get into the value later, because I do think they got quite a bit for him. I know a lot of people disagree with that. I think they got quite a bit. But the flip side to that is there's a couple things on that. Number one, they just told you what they think about this quarterback room. Because if they believed in Deshaun or if they believed in Shedeur, they would not be trading Myles Garrett. They would be linking them arm in arm. Quarterback to defensive end. We've got our franchise quarterback. We've got our cornerstone edge rusher. Here we go. Here's our new contention window. That's not what they did. They made the trade. They got the 27 draft capital. We've talked about it at length. We don't need to talk about it again right now. The quarterback, I know I said the quarterback was coming in 26, and that market crashed. The quarterback market crashed in 26. So what do? Again, the emotional side is, well, you said it was going to be 26. Yeah, you're right. And guess what? It didn't work out. So the pragmatic side is, well, you got to push it forward to 27 now. They got the extra first rounder in 26. It didn't work. They wound up with hopefully two pretty good players out of it. So now you push it forward to 27 and go looking for the quarterback. And the other thing, I don't believe Myles Garrett believed in the quarterback room. Because if Myles Garrett believed in the quarterback room, he would still be here.
I was going to ask you that question. Is it more so that Myles didn't believe in the quarterback room or the organization? Because we talked about this before the show started. I think there's a lot of mixed messaging going on right now.
1,000%.
Like, when you look at this thing in its totality, right, the first thing I thought about was I can't be totally dismissive as I was to this information. Did the quarterback room play a part? Did Todd Monken say privately, you know what, maybe the quarterback is not here?
Yeah.
Or was this more of Myles Garrett saying, I no longer have blind faith in this organization to get it right. I don't want to go through a situation with the new head coach all over again, wondering if we will win right away or not. And maybe, yeah, you know what, I'm probably optimistic about Shedeur, talking about Myles Garrett.
Sure.
Not so more about Deshaun Watson. But when I look at this thing in its totality and everything I've been through with this organization, am I really down to sign up for another year of this where I can go play for a Super Bowl contender in a city where my name, image, and likeness automatically takes a boost and I'm closer to my companion? And so for him, I think a lot of things factor into this. And like G said, once somebody say they don't want to be here, we all know what it's like to either work a job or be in a relationship or a situation to where when you check out, the effort is not there, the production is not there, the energy isn't there. And all those things will accumulate to, you know what, maybe it's just time to move.
But he told you last year he didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
He said it last year. And I, when he went on that Super Bowl media tour, he told no lies. He told you the truth. Everything that came, I said this last night on Channel 3, everything that came during that silly 8-year-old birthday party with the dinosaurs lined up on the podium, that was all nonsense. He told you the truth during the Super Bowl tour. Everything he said was accurate. And then for the last year, we've been walking around in this fog of, okay, well, I guess he didn't mean it. No, he meant it. He meant everything. But he ended up getting the contract out of it. But Earl, you're right. The messaging has been all over the place from the Browns. And I said that after the season. I don't understand. I thought Jimmy was right on point when prior to the season he said we took a big swing and a miss and it's going to take a while to dig out of this. That was exactly right. So how we got from there to they should have won more than 5 games, that doesn't make any sense. No, they shouldn't have won 5 games. They were lucky to get the 5 that they got. So now we're back to where they were the first time of it's going to take a while to dig out of this.
Well, and so my rationale goes to this. You talked about the Deshaun Watson thing. From my perspective, when they were selling a quarterback competition and it's like, okay, let's sell the Deshaun Watson, let's see what he got. That's under the premise that you keep in Myles Garrett and he's going to give you the best opportunity to win. When you move Myles Garrett, you basically told us what it was. You said, okay, this ain't what it is. We got to figure some things out. We going with the young. There is in no universe where playing Deshaun Watson at this point makes sense. None. It's zero. Because you've already said.
Come on in, G, the water's warm.
Like there is the competition noise, that should be gone. Because if you're going to tell me you're going to move Myles Garrett and he's in his prime for what you can get, why are we interested in a reclamation project if somebody is 30 plus years old and you know you're not going to sign them?
I'm going to start singing.
So guess what? You play Shedeur Sanders. Both sides should be happy. You play Shedeur Sanders, and guess what? If he's good and he plays himself into a franchise quarterback, you got extra picks to work with. If he's bad, you know what it looks like because you gave him the opportunity with guys around, and he's going to have to pull the level up. The best way to see if you're a franchise quarterback is take all the props away and say, what did you elevate? And if you lose enough games, guess what? Then you can go get you another quarterback. But it makes no sense to be doing no charades with a quarterback competition at this point once Myles Garrett is gone.
I've said that for months that people think I hate Shador. I don't hate Shador. If you're going to tell me you got to pick between Deshaun and Shador, I'll take Shador every single time. There's no light at the end of the Deshaun tunnel. None. That was the case 2 weeks ago. That was the case yesterday. It's the case today. If you're telling me Shador's on this roster, then play him. Play him.
You know where my optimism comes from, and hopefully I can lay this out right. When I hear Todd Monken says my job is to develop football players, okay, cool. I'm willing to give you the shot to show me that you can develop football players. And when I look at his track record as a coach, I understand he's a first-time head coach, and that is uncharted waters, and there will be a learning curve. But over his 30-plus year career, this man has been successful at every single stop, whether it be the pros or the collegiate level. And I've seen evidence at the NFL level of him being able to design an offense that players can benefit from, and for him to be able to develop football players. And so when I sit here and say I think the Browns can win 9 games, it's not because I think Deshaun Watson or Shador Sanders is all world. They haven't proved anything yet in Todd Monken's system. It's just that based on the evidence provided to me, I believe that Todd Monken can get more out of this offense than Kevin Stefanski can, and that will equate to more wins. Now, that was the thought process with Myles Garrett.
24 hours ago.
That was the thought process with Myles Garrett.
Thank you, Earl.
Right, leading the Browns defense.
Yeah,
but now that he's not here, what I thought was, okay, this is a clear-cut direction, has raised more questions for me in the last 24 hours than what I had. Because every piece of content I did was moving forward. This Browns team is still trying to win games. And that very well still might be the message. It's just foggy when you trade the best non-quarterback in the NFL away.
Yeah.
Well, there's a hit. It's a hit on that. Not like, listen, if you're developing, I still like their young talent. But like I said, listen, if Jerry Jeudy don't decide if he want to play, Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion and whatever young guy they got, Isaiah Bond.
And look, I know my time is limited, but I tell you too, me and this man sit upstairs and we go back and forth on content topics all the time. And me and Mike is very raw and transparent with each other. And I tell Mike when I feel like, hey man, you doing something for clicks, or this is a crazy conversation. You wasn't crazy.
I have had a lot of conversations that are crazy. This one, from the get-go, and I'll go back to what I said the day it happened, there was no reason to do it unless you were opening a trade window. And I know Andrew Berry said, and we know Andrew Berry in the past has done weird cap manipulation things for other reasons, but this one was done for one reason and one reason only. There's no other reason. There was no other logical explanation for it other than to open this cap window. Berry's talking right now.
Yeah.
We're going to get Zach Jackson on the show in the second hour to tell us a little bit about what Andrew Berry said, dive into Andrew Berry's mind. We'll pick and choose if we want to believe him. I think we've learned if he's talking.
I mean, Travis Hunter's a generational player, right? Travis Hunter's the man.
Like
in Jacksonville, they're not trading Myles Garrett, right? Not even having that conversation. Won't answer the phone.
I got to ask the timing with Zach, because the thing of that really, they doing the golf outing. It just seemed as if like somebody from what's the name, like it seemed like Myles was just like, hey, listen, we're gonna do this today, like now. Like I need, how did this? Because somebody told me this looks like this could have been done. The ink just wasn't dry. The plan was in place.
If you read the article in The Athletic this morning,
Zach and
Jordan Rodriguez. How do you pronounce your name?
Rodriguez.
Yeah. As soon as Myles restructured his contract, the Rams called. Yeah. This has been in the works for months.
Yeah.
Mike, you remember, I think it was right before the draft that we was talking about possible trade candidates. And I did the thumbnail Canva, and I chose the picture of Andrew Berry and Sean McVay walking. I had no idea.
They are Sean and AB. I didn't realize until this year how tight they are. They are incredibly tight. So just
I know we got to get the break, and I'll say this before I get upstairs. Like, G was right. This is disappointing, and this is heartbreaking because I'm a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan. And I think about, like, recent history. Like, man, Nick Chubb was a hell of a player in his prime here. But what did the Browns win with him? I seen Joe Thomas, like, become a Hall of Famer here. What did the Browns win with him?
Nothing.
I seen Myles Garrett now, like, become the best non-quarterback in the NFL. What have the Browns won with them? Like, this organization, I just hope and pray for the sake of my fandom and everybody else who loves this team, can just learn how to like get out their own way, learn from previous mistakes, and become a consistent winning organization. Because honestly, the way that this city go crazy about this team, like this fan base truly deserve to be rooting for a winner and not be the laughing stock of other fan bases and other organizations across the league. We deserve more than that.
It's not Nick's fault. It's not Joe's fault. It's not Myles' fault. It's an organizational failure that you've had this much Hall of Fame talent come through these doors and you've done nothing with it. One playoff win.
When we come back from break, man, Adam the Boy joins the program, and I'm sure he got a whole lot to say about the Browns trading Myles Garrett. That's coming up next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.